Shalom, Yasharala. This your brother Dawud Da, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach double honor to the apostles and the elders of great millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So I want to jump into this here article I came across dealing with the history of January 1st, which, they're celebrating here as New Year's Day, all right? Nevertheless, a lot of days that we have going on here in America, that our people so blindly follow, they don't really understand the origins of these holidays and these things like that. And a lot of these things go back to the persecution of your people, man. All right, like Thanksgiving, for instance, that's really celebrating the genocide of Gad, in the Northern Kingdom, all right, or Black Friday, all right. That was another day that they was actually selling us on the slave markets heavily on that day, man. All right. And you can get discounts and stuff like that on the slaves, all right. But this one here, we're going into what you call is New Year's Day, all right. And again, like I said, a lot of our people, they blindly celebrate these holidays or whatever, whatnot. And they'll look at you kind of funny because the origins of these things. You don't really want to partake in these types of things. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, it's like, oh, it's just something that we do. For instance, a lot of people that's growing up now don't really know and understand the history of the Ku Klux Klan. But if all of a sudden, that new generation grow up and they go out to a big ass field and start burning crosses, wearing white sheets, like, oh, this is just tradition. We don't know where it came from. We just do this on every, let's just say March 15th or some shit. Every March 15th, we go out and do this, right? It's like, well, we just do it as tradition, not knowing where these origins come from. That sounds off. That's kind of weird that you would say something like that. Well, when you actually go into the origins of Thanksgiving, man, it's about the same thing. We're about to read this here article, which is going into, some of the origins of what happened on January 1st. All right. So this is from Times Magazine, but Times.com. It says the slaves dread New Year's Day, the grim history of January 1st. Right. So it says Americans are likely to think of New Year's Eve and New Year's Day as a time to celebrate the fresh start of a new year, that a new year represents. But there are also a troubling side to the holiday's history, all right? And like I said, that's predominantly how, a lot of these, we're going to talk about Israelites, all right? The Israelites here in America, the majority of the Israelites here in America look and celebrate at these holidays the same way, man. It's just another time to, to celebrate, have a good time with your friends and your family and eat some good food and go out and go drink and party and have a good time, But nevertheless, this is also, this is, how do I say, these things, the origins all go back to a lot of things where a lot of these things actually originate from your oppression. All right. It says, in the years before the Civil War, the first day of the new year was often a heartbreaking one for enslaved people in the United States. In the African American community, New Year's Day used to be widely known as Hiring Day or Heartbreak Day. All right. So see, it's the same celebration, the same things is going on behind these things. All right. But nevertheless, they just change up the names, just like with these different gods and deities that these people worship or whatever, whatnot. They just change the name of it, but they celebrate the same thing, It says, so like, I hope we're not about to freeze up. It says in African American community or Israelite community, New Year's Days used to be widely known as Hiring Day or Heartbreak Day, as the African American abolitionist journalist William Cooper Neal described it, because enslaved people spent New Year's Eve wondering if their owners were going to rent them out to someone else, thus potentially splitting up their families. All right. So, hey, we was giving it to their hands as a possession, man, and they could do with us whatever they please, So if they wanted to go and sell us, they could sell us, you know what I'm saying, and get some money off of us. They wanted to rent us, man. They could send us out for, a rental agreement, whether it be, 3 months, 6 months, or even a year, man, or even longer than that, man. You know what I'm saying? So they was out here, how do you say, selling and renting us off, man. You know how some people, most guys might understand this a little bit more than women, but like, your car the same way you might drive a rental car, you know what I'm saying? And not saying that you drive a rental car a lot safer because it ain't your car. You might be doing all kinds of shit. Well, fuck it, it's a rental car, you know what I'm saying? It ain't even my shit, you know what I'm saying? So I ain't gonna fuck it up. Or I ain't fucking up my car, it's somebody else's car, you know what I'm saying? And I'm taking this shit back tomorrow anyway, But nevertheless, the same way they would treat these slaves, like, oh, well, I don't really have to, see this guy after a whole year. I'm just use him for as much as I can use him for and get whatever I can get up out of him for as much as possible, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, just like if you ever see people who, rent homes versus people who own homes, like dealing with, kind of like where I work at now. I see a lot of different people and the types of people that they are. The majority of them all Edomites, but you could tell the renters, the people that rent these homes, all right, their homes are always like trash and like just everything's all fucked up around there. You know what I'm saying? Everything's all trashy and everything like that. You would think that they lived in the damn hood and shit, right? No curtains, no blinds, no covers or sheets on the bed. Everything just thrown everywhere, whatever, whatnot. Grass ain't cut. These people don't really give a damn, you know what I'm saying? Because why? It's not their house. And, they're going to just be here for a time frame. Then after that time frame's up, they're going to keep it moving, man. Go to another house and go destroy that one, But if it was their house, they would take care of it because they know they got to be there for the long haul and have to deal with it for the long term. All right? It says, the renting out of slave labor was a relatively common practice in the antebellum South and a profitable practice for white slave owners and hirers. All right, so hey, they just put it out there, white slave owners, man. They talking some, you ask these damn Edomites nowadays, you bring up the topic of slavery. Every last one of them that you talk to them, they're like, nah, my forefathers never had slaves. We came over after or whatever, whatnot. So, what happened to all these so-called white people who own slaves? That, in this time in history, did they all just die off and disappear and they never had no kids or nothing? No, it's these same ass people, man. That's like, I like to call it a so-called Jedi mind trick. You know what I'm saying? They ask them like, oh, you very patriotic. You like this country? Yeah, I love this country. My forefathers fought and they died for this country. Okay, well, ask them, who did they fight for this country? All right, were they the ones that killed off the so-called Native American Indians, the Northern Kingdom, Gad and all of them? Was that them that did that with the Gatling guns and the smallpox and shit like that? Was it your forefathers that did that? No, it wasn't my forefathers that did that. Oh, so your forefathers must have been the ones that came over here, brought so-called Negroes over here and enslaved their ass. No, it wasn't my forefathers that did that. Okay, so it was your forefathers that was on the plantation that was whipping these so-called Negroes on the plantations and stuff like that. No, it wasn't my forefathers. Okay, so it was after slavery then when they had Jim Crow laws and things like that, and they was, heavily lynching and burning and barbecuing and torturing Jake, because the majority of that happened after the Emancipation Proclamation took place, man. All right, so at what point in time did your foreparents come over here? But yet and still none of these Edomites that's around nowadays, they'll tell you, no, we didn't have nothing to do with that. As if they just came over to America like last year or some shit. Nah, we first generation white people over here, man. But hey, the so-called white man is being exposed on all ends right now, man. It says hiring day was part of the larger economic cycle, which most debts were collected and settled on New Year's Day. Says Alex McCrossan, expert on the history of the New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, and the professor of history at the Southern Methodist University, who writes about hiring day in her forthcoming book, Tom's Touchstones, The New Year's of American Life, man. All right, so look, this is what was going on. This is what was going on back in those days, man. They was taking us and trading us, selling us, and also renting us out, man. All right. Some enslaved people were put up for auction that day or held under contracts that started in January. These transactions also took place all year long, and contracts could last for different amounts of times. These deals were conducted privately among family, friends, and business contracts, and slaves were handed over in town squares or courthouse steps, and sometimes simply on the side of the road, according to the Divided Mastery, Slave Hiring in American South by Jonathan D. Martin. All right, so this is you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American history, man. And a lot of you still want to walk around hand in hand with the Edomites talking about, oh, our main problem is people that look like us, And in reality, coming from being on the highways and the byways and preaching this here truth, man, a lot of the flack that we do get back, a lot of the most, big shit that we do get back do come from our people, man. But ultimately, you can't blame that on our people, man. Who the fuck gave our people that mindset? Who programmed our people to be like this, man? Who programmed our people to love the so-called white man and bow down to him, and every time they go to church and pray to the so-called white man like that? That's not who we were supposed to be, bowing down into, man. All right, our powers look just like us, man. All right, now all of a sudden, the so-called white man got us bowing down to another so-called white man. All right, and just believing on everything that he doing. He's sitting here killing us in our face. We still supposed to love him and hate our own people, man. All right, he the one tell you about all the so-called demonic shit about your people. Oh, you can't trust black people. They always stealing, yet and still you just stole the whole landmass that we living on, man. You know what I'm saying? But you can't trust the so-called black people. They thugs and they niggas. But y'all the ones building nuclear bombs and all this military equipment and going over there and thugging it out and gangbanging internationally. You see what I'm saying? But yet and still, so-called black people are drug dealers. Well, y'all the ones got the damn control of the poppy fields and the cocaine fields and all that. Y'all the ones that's transporting it here in America, man. You know what I'm saying? You make money off of all of our oppression, man. But yet and still they will blame us for all this. Well, your people are the ones selling drugs to each other. Your people are the ones killing each other. Where the fuck do we get the guns from? Where do we get the drugs from? I don't know. No niggas, all right, that got, I say it that way, just put it to you, flat in your mindset. You don't know no niggas that own no airplanes, that know how to fly no airplanes, or no shit like that to transport no drugs over here, man. You know what I'm saying? You don't know, it ain't no hood in America you can go to and go find a goddamn AK-47 manufacturing plant, man. You know what I'm saying? They don't got them in the hood, man. But yet and still, the hood is flooded with all these things, man. Where did they get it from, man? All right, you don't got no Jake arms dealer sitting in the hood in his apartment over here, you know what I'm saying, is moving like, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of crates of AK-47 extendo clips, 100-round drums, and bullets and shit for these motherfuckers, man. Nah, man, but Jake got all of that shit in the hood, man. Where does Jake get this shit from? From you Edomites. But then they get mad when they try to, portray this back on us, man. When we get all the things that we got come from y'all, man. All right, yeah, they the real niggas, man. They the real low-lifes of the planet Earth. Look what they doing internationally, man. All right. It says some enslaved people were put up for auction. It's like I just read that. It says accounts for the cruelty of hiring days left by those who secured their freedom, who describe spending the day before January 1st, hoping and praying that their hirers would be humane and that their families could stay together. Of all days in the year, the slaves dread New Year's Day the worst, a slave named Lewis Clark said in 1842 account. On New Year's Day, which I think that was a misprint there, because I think at the bottom of the article they say it was 1920 something. It's a lot. Oh, what they said right, 1827. All right, so going back up. Oh, that wasn't even there. But nevertheless, it says, on New Year's Day, we went to the auctioneer's block to be hired at the highest bidder for 1 year. Israel Campbell, who wrote in a memoir published in 1861 in Philadelphia, in which he describes being hired out 3 times. Crazy, homeboy's first name was Israel, right? This is who we talking about, the Israelites. The signs is everywhere, man, but people still be looking for signs, but yet they ain't gonna never, they're not seeking the signs that they was given, man. The signs were what? The prophets, and then basically the writings, man. We the signs, we raised up as the prophets now, breaking down the damn prophecies, man. All right, and inside the prophecies, letting you know who you are, man. These are the signs that's going to be on you forever, man. All right. It says, that's where they're saying come out of what you do on New Year's Day, you'll be doing all the rest of the year. A former slave known as Sister Harrison said in an interview in 1937. So, hey, that's why they say they New Year's resolution, things like that. I'm going to start this year as a new year with something brand new, and we're going to hopefully continue this all the way on out. But nevertheless, that was really talking about Jakes, man. You so-called Negroes, man. Whatever you was going to be doing on January 1st, that's what you was going to be doing probably the whole year, man, because you was rented out unto a slave owner. And let's say you was on a plantation that had cotton, right? Then you got auctioned off January 1st. Now you on a plantation that's got peanuts, all right? And you was auctioned off for a whole year. Well, you're not going to be picking cotton for this year. You're going to be picking peanuts for this year, man, all right? It says Harriet Jacobs wrote, another name, Jacobs. Harriet Jacobs wrote a particular detailed account of the slaves' New Year's Day chapter in her 1861 autobiography, Incidents of the Life of a Slave Girl. Hiring Day at the South takes place on the 1st of January, and on the 2nd, the slaves are expected to go to their new masters, she wrote. She observed slave owners and farmers renting out their human chattel for extra income during the period between the cotton and the corn harvest and the next planting season, all right? So, hey, man, they was just using us for labor. And another thing, they talk about how, oh, you so-called Negroes, y'all are just the laziest bunch of people I've ever seen in my life. Like, bitch, y'all ain't never did a work in the day of y'all life, man. All y'all did was, telling people what to do. And y'all really didn't even do all that. Y'all had people that was in charge of that shit too, man. But ultimately, this is what's going to be like in the kingdom of heaven, man. We about to have y'all in captivity, you know what I'm saying? Psalms 2:8, man, asking me that I should give you the heathen for thy inheritance and the uttermost part of the earth for thy possession, man. All right? We about to have the number one resource. That was what, this is what made them so rich and everything like that. They had the number one resource, really the ultimate resource, man. Not only did they have human slaves, they had the Israelites in slavery, man. You know what I'm saying? And, hey, the Most High still prosper us in a lot of the things that we do, whether, we be all fucked up, like in captivity or whatever, whatnot, man. But yet we were still churning out a whole bunch of productivity for these Edomites to get them super rich, man. All right? All the cotton we picked, all right? All this here free labor made America super rich, man. All right? It says, she observed slave owners and farmers renting out their human chattel for extra income during the period between cotton and corn harvest and the next planting season. From Christmas to New Year's Eve, Many families would wait anxiously to find out whether they would be rented out and to whom. On New Year's Day, at the appointed hour, the grounds of thronged with men and women and children waiting like criminals to hear their doom pronounced, Jacobs wrote. All right, and this is talking about our people, man, not knowing whether or not they're gonna be separated as a family. You know, a mother go up there, get separated from her kids, you know what I'm saying, or a husband from his wife, and so on and so forth, man. It says, and hey, they still do the same thing to the same day, man. You know, going with the search and stop and frisk and all these different things, separating our families multiple different ways, man, causing strife and all kind of different things, man, in our household, splitting up our families and things like that, man. All right. It says one of these fateful days, and just to speak on, the women's liberation movement, civil rights, and all that stupid shit that they came out with, with food stamps and Section 8 and all these different things, man. It's the same thing going on, man. They just did it in a more so-called peaceful looking way. Instead of taking you out on the auction block and forcibly separating you like that, man, they gave you this Babylon juice to make you, hey, look, you can get all these benefits from the government. All you got to do is just separate yourself from your husband. Make sure ain't no man living in the household, and the more babies you pop out, and you live off the system, we'll pay you more and more money for it, But ultimately, it's destroying your household, man, separating your families, man. And they know that if your family unit ain't together, man, you ain't going to have no other kind of unit, man. All right, that's the foundation of everything, man. Like the scriptures say, a man shall leave his mother and his father and cleave unto his wife, and they two shall become one flesh, man. One unit, man, moving together with the man being the head of the household, man. All right, they raise up children, man. The children come up in the same way with the same beliefs that the parents have, man. All right, and they spread out like that, and then, one family, one household grow into a small community. All right, that community turned into a small town. That town turned to a small city. That city turned to a small state. That state turned to a country, man, based off of the same values and beliefs that was brought up in that same household, man. But yet and still, when you destroy that foundation, all right, this is why you got Jake running around all in that independent spirit, man. You see a lot of these women, all independent women, this and that. You see, try having so-called black people work with other so-called black people on their dreams and their little businesses. Hey, man, I'm about to start this new business. Why don't you go in business with me, bruh? Fuck that. I'm about to keep this here job with the so-called white man and so on and so forth and complain about the oppression that they give me. I ain't finna start no business with you and get my own shit. What the fuck I look like helping you out with something, man? That's the mind state of our people, man. All separated and divided, going back into the curses, how there was going to be a division between us. But nevertheless, they understand that this is a way of keeping us in a weaker state, man, by keeping us divided. Like the scripture said, a house divided upon itself can't stand, man. All right. It says, on one of the faithful days, Jacob saw a mother lead 7 children into an auction block. She knew that some of them would be taken from her, but they took all. The slave owner who traded the children wouldn't tell her where he was taking them because it depended on where he could get the highest price, Jacob said. Jacob said she would never forget the mother crying out, gone, all gone. Why don't God kill me? All right. Hey, and that's going to prove to you these are the curses that our people are up under, man. You know what I'm saying? This is how hey, man, it can get way worse than this, man. Like, we about to be, we set for salvation coming up here real soon, man. But really, it's ultimately up to the Most High, man. He could start this whole thing back over again, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, look, man, the Most High ain't nothing to play with, bro. For real, bro. Generation after generation growing up and dying in slavery, man. This type of shit going on, man. You know what I'm saying? You still, in slavery, having kids or whatever, whatnot, but you having your kids, you think they're going to be your kids, you're going to raise them all up, but then all of a sudden, as the new year come around, they bring you and all 7 of your kids out there. You think that maybe they might sell 1 or 2, but then they sold all 7 of your kids, man. Now all 7 of these kids are being separated to 7 different farms. They're not going to tell you where they from or where they going. You know what I'm saying? The husband is separated from the wife, so the whole family is now being separated, man. You don't have a sense of anything, man. And nowadays our people are all strung out and tired of being alone. This is why this is the big attraction to gangs, amongst Jake men, a lot of the men, a lot of Jake men join gangs and things like that because they need a sense of a family unit, man. They grew up in these households without their fathers, brothers, and stuff like that, camaraderie in the household. So they cleave into these street gangs because why? That's their brotherhood. That's their brothers, man. I'm going to die for my blood. I'm going to die for my crip because why? That's a sense of family, man. They say, this is my family first and foremost before my real family. I don't even know them. They ain't really did shit for me. But my Bloods and my Crip brothers, they've been out here in the trenches with me, man. So they desiring to have their family unit together because, why? They've been deprived of that the whole time, man. All right? It says, enslaved people who attempted to resist going into their new masters were whipped and thrown into jail until they relented and promised not to run away during a new arrangement. All right, so your ass was thrown in jail if you wasn't happy with them forcibly separating you from your family and renting your ass out to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? If you wasn't happy about that, well, your ass was gonna go to jail till you got everything right, man. Just like how they got it going on in this here system today, man. If you don't like living where you live or whatever, whatnot, or if they decide to give you a position in a company or whatever, whatnot, and you got to go do this, you got to go do that, and they move you to a different branch or put you in a different location. You don't like that? All right. Well, we can't directly fire your ass off rip, but we can put you in a compromising position so that your ass will wind up either quitting the job or we'll have a grounds to fire your ass. But nevertheless, your ass is going to, wind up suffering for not doing what we want you to do, man. We want you to be rented out over here in this department. You don't want to work all that. All right, well, we got you then. You ain't gonna work out nowhere over here, man. All right, because ultimately the path that Jake is gonna wind up being on is set by the so-called white man here, man. We in captivity up under him, man. All right, that's why it's like, yo, man, he gonna tell you where you gonna work at, when you gonna go to, what time you gonna get up to go to work, when you gonna go to break, when you gotta go to the bathroom, all these different things, man, because we still in captivity up under the so-called white man. All right. It says older slaves were also particularly vulnerable, as Jacobs described one owner trying to hire out a frail, rough woman because she was moving away. All right, because he was moving away. All right. So, hey, he even had a 70-year-old slave out there. He was like, man, I'm about to move. It's like you about to move out of your house or whatever, whatnot, and you done packed up all your shit. You know what I'm saying? And you see something at the house, like, you know what, I'm about to move. I don't even really need this old ass pillow no more, or, these old glasses or these old plates. I'm going to get some new shit when I get to the new spot anyway. Or this here old rug, I'm going to just leave it behind. Or I don't want to bring this to the new crib or whatever, whatnot, so I'm going to have a moving sale or whatever, whatnot, That's what they talking about right here, man. They did this to 70-year-old old women, man. All right. They ain't have no pity on the old, the young. A lot of times when we bring out, about this destruction that's coming on 2/3 of our people, a lot of women think that that's not talking about them too, man. Or the young people, your children, you think your children are safe or your grandma's safe, man. The Most High, Ezekiel chapter 9, verse 5, talking about, hey, spare not, neither have ye any pity, man. And start at the ancient of the house of Israel first, man. All right, go through the men, the women, the young maids, the children, and the elderly people, man. All of them, man. All right, because why? The Most High is not how you say partial against whether you old or you young or whatever, whatnot, man. He gonna bring this judgment down on everybody, man. You know what I'm saying? So like when you read scriptures like happy shall he be that taketh and dashes thy little ones against the stones, people look at you like, oh, that's weird that you would take somebody's baby and do that to him. Like, well, the scriptures say we're gonna render to them double what they did unto us, man. So you go back into the history of what? C-sections, all right, where they get this out, where they would cut the damn babies out of Israelite women's stomachs, man, and let the baby just fall out on the ground, or take the baby that's, either a newborn baby or a baby that's already been born and has been crying on this here journey, when they was doing the Trail of Tears, take the damn baby and smash their ass up against a tree, man. This is what Esau was doing to our people, man. All right, or taking our babies and hanging them over the top of the damn lakes and things like that, for alligators to come and jump up out the water, all right, and snatch on the children, man. They call that gator bait, man. They still talk about that to this same day. When you talk about the Florida Gators and stuff like that, one of their little sayings or whatever, whatnot is, oh, you gator bait, But ultimately, and one of the biggest rival are what? The Seminole, the other football team whose mascot is the Seminoles, And who are the Seminole Indians? The Seminole Indians are what? So-called Seminole Indians are the tribe of Gad, which are the Israelites, or the tribe of Reuben, Salakia. That's the tribe of Reuben, which are the Israelites, all right? It says the history of New Year's Day and American slavery is not all horror. The holiday was also associated with freedom. Right. The federal ban on the transatlantic slave trade went into effect on New Year's Day in 1808, and African-American communities did celebrate, but the festivals were short-lived. Different slave trade abolitionist commemorations took place between 1808 and 1831, but they died out because the domestic slave trade was so vigorous, said McCrossan. All right, so look, they might not have been internationally bringing them back in no more, you know what I'm saying, but they were still trading amongst each other right here in America, man. All right, so they wasn't trading slaves from overseas, bringing slaves from Africa, Spain, and all places like that no more, you know what I'm saying, at this point in time, but yet still here in America, they were still trading them on auction blocks between this guy and that guy, you know what I'm saying? It says the risk of violence was also too great. For example, on New Year's Eve in 1827, in New York City, a white mob attacked African-American congregants and vandalized their church, like they still do to this same day, man. All right, you talking about, oh, America's new, there's no more racism or whatever, whatnot, the white man ain't the enemy, but he's been doing the same shit he's been doing since the beginning, your beginning times of coming over here, man. Tell me one year where he stopped doing all these things, man. They talk about making America great again. Well, what time was America great for you so-called Negroes, man? you see some of these coon-ass Negroes out here supporting those movements and stuff like that. And really, ultimately, they do those things for some kind of acceptance. They really hate themselves that much that they want to cleave into the so-called white man. You see jakes like this, they'll come up and really, ultimately, they really abhor seeing these people in such a low state. They don't want to associate themselves with anything that has to do with that. So then they'll go to the far extreme of the opposite end of the spectrum. You know what I'm saying? Just so I can disassociate myself with anything that's got to do with black people, so that y'all don't confuse me with being black, because this is the delusion. If I associate myself with everything that's like what white people do, people will visually see me as white. Nah, bro, it's your skin color, brother. They looking at first and foremost. All right. But nevertheless, Jake will sit here and be wearing these Make America Great Again hats, you know what I'm saying? Because they want the acceptance of the so-called white man, want them to view him as a so-called white man and not as a so-called Negro, man. All right. But nevertheless, this is the same shit that's been going on since the beginning of the time, since you got over here, man. All right. It says the holiday become more associated with freedom than slavery when Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation, freeing slaves in Confederate states on New Year's Day in 1863. Slaves went to church and prayed and sang on December 31st, 1862, and that's why there is still a New Year's Eve prayer service at African-American churches nationwide. Now, I got a quick question. When these motherfuckers was in the church praying on New Year's Day, who was they bowing down and praying to? Who was they visualizing in their mind as they was praying? They was praying to the same motherfucker that had them in slavery. That don't even make sense. You see the whole mind fuckery here? You praying to the man that's got you in slavery for him to have a change of a heart and to free your ass. This is the same motherfucker that put you in slavery, man. All right, but nevertheless, this is the curses. This is how destroyed our people were. All right, and they still doing this shit to the same day. New Year's Day. I remember growing up in church, man. Growing up around my grandma and stuff like that on New Year's Day, man. New Year's Eve, we was in church. During the countdown and all that, we was in New Year's having a observing or whatever, whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And they don't tell you about this here history and that. They was like, oh, we want to pray for a new year and better things, but they don't realize that the origins of that shit was what our people was doing right before the New Year's came up. We was praying and hoping that our families didn't get separated, all right, and we wasn't rented out to somebody else or to a more oppressive slave owner, man. This is where the origins of these things come from, but yet and still, you still have these old-ass jakes that's going to these damn churches, going to church on New Year's Day, Christmas Day, Thanksgiving, Easter, all kind of shit like that, and none of this got nothing to do with nothing that's in the scriptures, man. They didn't put all this shit into your mind about all these things, you know what I'm saying? And yet and still, you going to do all these things, but you praying for this oppression to pass over you, man. But yet and still, you going to your oppressor and praying unto him that he would stop oppressing you, not even knowing it's one and the same. It's the same person, man. All right? It says, as such, pray for more widespread racial equality 157 years later. Like I said, man, you over here praying to the so-called white man that enslaved your ass for racial equality. When he see you, he see himself as above you. Just like Deuteronomy 7:6 say, thou art a holy people to Yahweh thy power. All right, to be a separate people, to be a holy people above all the people that's on the face. Once we get up out of this condition, that's the state that we're going to be in. We're going to be above all these other people that's on the face of the earth, man. All right, we're not going to be fighting for equality, man. We're not going to be fighting with the Most High and Yahweh Shah and the ruling governing body. No. We above everybody else, but we need to bring these Edomites up onto our level, man. We need to bring these Hamites up to be on our level, man. We need these Moabites. We're not gonna be fighting for no racial equality or none, according to their terminology, racial equality. We're not gonna be fighting for no shit like that, man. We're gonna be happily on top and having everybody else in subjection, man. And they gonna be happy that we're gonna be on top and having their ass in subjection, man. It's like the scripture goes, roughly paraphrasing, as the king is, so is his people, man. You know what I'm saying? And the wise king is going to instruct his people to be wise like himself, man. You're not going to be telling them to do some shit to destroy their ass and to hate themselves and all these different things that they got going on here in Babylon, man. All right? So I'm going to go from here. Let me grab some scriptures, man. And I just wanted to grab a couple of scriptures. I was just reading this here article and just pondering about some things, man. Just a couple of scriptures I want to pull out real quick. Who knows? If the Spirit leads to more scriptures, then so be it. We're going to start here in the book of Daniel, chapter 9 and verse 12. And he have confirmed his word against Salak, and he have confirmed his words which he spake against us and against our judges that judged us. All right. So look, the words that he spoke against us is in the book of Deuteronomy 28, man. All right, that's the contract right there, man. That's the covenant that we took with the Most High, man. Verse 1 through 14 is talking about all the blessings he will bless us with if we upheld our contract, man. All right, just like when you go buy a new car or some shit like that, you know what I'm saying, or get a contract with cable company or whatever, whatnot. Hey, man. You sign up with us, get all these free packages, these free channels, whatever, whatnot, for the first 6 months. And the bill is this for the first 6 months. whatever, whatnot, you know what I'm saying? Or got a new car payment, get free oil changes for the first year, you know what I'm saying? Get a extended warranty or whatever, whatnot. You buy a new house, you get free lawn service or whatever for a year. You know what I'm saying? That's all in the contract. If you go ahead and sign this here line, make your payments on time, you get all this here, you know what I'm saying? All these here blessings, man. But then you sign this here contract and you don't be paying your bills, and you basically breaking contract. All right, so then look, it's gonna be a penalty. Your interest rate gonna go up sky high, first of all. Second of all, we're gonna put a lien on your house. You know what I'm saying? Third of all, all this X, Y, and Z is gonna happen to you, man. These are the curses that's falling upon you, man. All right, so this is the same way as, like, let me read it again, Daniel 9:12. And he have confirmed his words, which he spake against us and against our judges that judged us. All right, so it's the same for, let me keep reading, by bringing upon us a great evil. All right, it's the same way, like I said, man, you just bought this new house or this new car, and they had all these, oh, you can get this and you can get that, but now all of a sudden, everything is all good. You had your house party and everything. You went, pulled up in your new car stunting, but now all of a sudden you didn't make that payment. They came and repossessed your car. Now your credit all fucked up. Now you got to walk to work, man. You done lost your job. Now all these calamities then came upon you because why? You didn't uphold your end of the bargain, man. All right, now all these great evils are falling upon you, man. All right. Verse 12 again, Daniel 9:12. And he have confirmed his words which he spake against us and against our judges that judged us by bringing upon us a great evil. One of the great evils besides these curses was Esau, Edom. For under the whole heaven have not been done as have been done unto Jerusalem. All right, so, hey, there's been no other atrocities on the planet Earth, no other horrors done to no other people on the planet Earth worse than what's been done to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you've been, how you say, downtrodden, kicked, and thrown into the slums worse than anybody else on the face of the earth. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. All right, and as we read in this here article, who was just reading this here article, all right, they say, oh, well, everybody has had slaves. Everybody's been slaves once before. Everybody has. That's the argument whenever you bring up, the slavery that was done to the Israelites, especially here in America, man. Oh, everybody was slaves. Everybody had slaves. That ain't nothing new. There's been slaves throughout the whole earth, man. True enough, there has been slaves throughout the whole earth, man. We even have laws on slavery in our scriptures, man. All right, dealing with, like, you can take your brother into slavery, man. All right, there's a lawful way of doing that. And what Esau did to us was not taking us in slavery, man. That was completely different, man, because when you really go into the word slavery versus what Esau did to us, it's two completely different things, man. All right, yeah, you can take your brother into slavery by, according to the scriptures and everything like that, and that's basically like, none of you people really have a problem with going to work, getting up and going to work and go getting a job, man. You get up, you go apply for a job, you might like the job, if they treat you decent, you like the job, you keep the job, right? Same way with our laws, man, because first of all, we all had inheritance coming up, right? So you had some land, you had some shit that your parents passed down onto you. Sometimes you could fall on hard times and you wouldn't have nothing economically, right? So your brother would so-called, air quotes, take you into slavery. Or in modern day times, he would give your ass a job, basically. You know what I'm saying? You would come and work for his ass, for a certain amount of time, man. All right. Now, there's also a law, if you liked working for him, all right, you could basically, basically you would put like an earring in your ear and you would be chained to this dude's front door overnight, just to show that, hey, man, this is a good employer. I like working for old boy, and I want everybody to know homeboy treats his people good, man. Now, and that type of slavery, that type of servitude, just like today at the job, man, your boss ain't supposed to be beating you and shit like that, starving you out. Nah, you can't have no lunch break. You got to work 24 hours a day, 365 days a week, no days off. And you can't see your kids, you can't do nothing, you can't call off, you can't do shit, and we're gonna be beating you. If you get something wrong, we're gonna beat you for the hell of it, man. Now, any of you people with jobs out there, if matter of fact, if your boss said he was going to put his hands on you at any of your jobs, you would leave that job, man. There's the difference between what we went through here up under the so-called white man and basically like actual slavery. All right, slavery is nothing more than just servitude. You're just serving somebody, i.e. when you have a job. There's a difference between you having a job, getting paid for what you're doing, and there's some kind of respect line. Your boss tell you what to do. Hey, I need you to go run these here papers down to the office. I need you to make these here copies. I need you to do whatever. I need you to go ahead and put this foundation down or whatever, whatnot, build up these walls, lay these here plumbing pipes or whatever, whatnot. Your boss is telling you what to do and you following those orders. Yeah. But also at the end all be all, he's supposed to pay you at the end of the day before the sun go down, but he paying you whether it be at the end of the week, end of the 2 weeks or the end of the month or however he paying you. All right. And nevertheless, he's not treating you like a real slave, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if really at a job, the boss will tell you, hey, man, I need you to go over there and clean them toilets out. And you can be like, I ain't cleaning shit out. You know what I'm saying? And then basically you're going to come to a point to where it's like, all right, maybe the boss might be like, all right, I ain't going to ask you to clean out the shit out the toilet no more. I'll ask somebody else. If that's the kind of boss you got, okay. You might have a boss like, well, if you ain't gonna clean out the shit out the toilet, then I don't got no use for you here. You can go ahead. We're gonna go in the office. We're gonna sign your separation papers and let your ass go. It's not no real big scuffle. It's like not like the boss gonna tell you, hey, I need you to go clean the damn toilet, and you say no, and then he gonna pull out a whip and start beating your ass until you do it, man. You know, it's not like you're gonna go to work. You know what I'm saying? You know, some jobs, I think they have this shit like bring your kid to work day or whatever. You ain't gonna ever, you know, bring your kid to work or your boss find out that you got kids or whatever, whatnot, and they force you to bring your kid in there and start working, you know, for slave labor and shit like that. I'll bring your little 5-year-old up here. He could be sweeping the floor. He could be doing this and doing that. Nah, man, that ain't gonna happen, man. All right, they got laws against that, man. So there's a difference between your servitude and then being enslaved. All right, when you got a slave or a servant, man. All right, they forcing you to do certain things, man. All right, just like for instance, it's kind of like a bad analogy, but you know what I'm saying? They got like prostitution, right? You gonna go and pay for prostitution. That's like a consensual thing between two people. The person is selling and the person is buying. Versus you got these sex rings, all right, and these sex slaves. Now the sex slave and the sex ring, they're not doing this shit willingly. They doing this shit by force, all right? They being threatened to be put into this, all right? So basically, at the end all be all, you had the same act taking place. You got a John and a Trick and the hoe, right? They both, you know, conducting their business together, but one of them is consensual and the other one is by force. All right. So just like your job, one of them is consensually, you consensually going to your job, and the other one is by force, man. So what Esau did to us is really not even slavery, man. This is hardcore bondage, man. This is straight oppression, man. All right. Let me go from there to the book of matter of fact, as I just mentioned this is Deuteronomy chapter 28. What is that? 40. Oh, here's one right here. So going into how the Most High confirmed his words he spake against us. All right, these are the words that he spake against us here, dealing with Deuteronomy chapter 28. Right, let me read verse 1. Deuteronomy 28 and 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, to observe to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that Yahweh thy power will set thee high above all the nations on the earth. All right, and all these blessings shall come. And all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee, but if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy power. So these are all the blessings, right? Jump down to verse 15. It says, but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, then all these curses take thee. All right. And again, this is the same thing that's going on like when you go rent a house, an apartment, a car, anything like that. Or here in America, shit. You go get a driver's license or whatever, whatnot here in America, or anything you do, just being a regular law-abiding citizen here in America, man. All right, as long as you just a regular law-abiding citizen, man, you really kind of got the freedom to do a lot of things you want to go do, man. If you want to get up and go to the mall, you can get up and go to the mall. You can go shop till you drop. You can go to whatever fast food restaurant you want to go to. You can go to whatever bar you want to go to. You can go to whatever friend house you want to go to. You can go see whatever relative you want to go see. You can go do all this shit. You want to go to the movies? Go to the movies. We don't give a fuck. You a free citizen. You go do what you want to go do. But however, you become a damn criminal, you go on a robbing spree, a killing spree and shit like that, your ass is going to have all your so-called rights revoked, and your ass going to be put inside of a cage, inside of prison, man. These are going to be all the curses coming upon you. All right, now you're going to have to do life in prison, and in the first 40 years, you're going to spend in a hole, no contact with the outside world. You can't go nowhere, man. This is the contract that you basically signed for being over here. Look, we got laws, statutes, commandments here. You're going to either follow them, and you can live happily ever after over here in Babylon, you know, or so they say, according to, you know, what they say over here. Or, you know, you could break these laws and then your ass gonna be in jail, man. And you're gonna be living, you know, in them conditions, man. All right. So this is the same thing the Most High gave us, man. People like to say a religion. Nah, man, you don't call America a religion. You got the same shit here in America as we got in the scriptures, man. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not commit adultery. They got the same shit here, man. You can't go around murdering people. That's really what it means, thou shalt not kill. You can't be going around murdering people here, man. You can't be going around breaking into people's shit, robbing banks and stealing from people, man. And really, I don't know if they still have it like this, but nevertheless, you know, like when people get married, you know, in certain situations, like if a man go out and cheat on a woman in a relationship and they married, you know, 9 times out of 10, she can get a alimony and all these different payouts, you know, for his so-called infidelity, you know. But in reality, if it was flipped around the other way, if she want to go around cheating or whatever, whatnot, he still got to pay her ass, man. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, America give you law, statutes, commandments, and you follow them. You either a law-abiding citizen or you a damn criminal. Same thing with the Most High, man. It's either you gonna be a law-abiding righteous Israelite, or you gonna be a damn one of the heathen, man. All right, you gonna be cast out like a 2/3, man, and be, you know, among the congregation of the dead, man. All right, a sinner, man. All right. So going to Deuteronomy 28 and was it 32? Yeah. These are the curses that fell upon us. It says, thy sons and thy daughters shall be given into another people, and thy eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thy hand. So like we just read in that article about the woman who went down to the auction on January 1st, you know what I'm saying, with her 7 children. All right. She thought that maybe 1 or 2 of them would be sold, but she came back saying it was all sold. You know, and then what was her reaction back then? Oh, well, God, that he would kill me. You know what I'm saying? Basically, oh, you took everything away from me, man. And there's nothing that she could do about it, man. It's not like she can go call the police. You know what I'm saying? Hey, just like nowadays, man. You know what I'm saying? You do a certain crazy shit, they'll come and send, defects or child protective custody services against your ass. Come take your kids and you can't do shit about it, man. You know what I'm saying? You say that, oh, I'm not cool with my 3-year-old having a sex change. They're going to come take that little motherfucker and you can't do nothing about it, man. All right? Verse 32 again, thy sons and thy daughters shall be given to another people, and their eyes shall look and fail for the longing for them all the day long, and there should be no might in their hands. So as we read in Daniel chapter 9, talking about he confirmed his word, which he spake against us by bringing upon us this great evil. This is what it is, man. Hey, man, the words came up off the page and it became manifested into reality, man. You know your history. We was just reading about it, man. How they was taking us and auctioning us off, man, especially on New Year's, man, renting us off, man, separating the families. All right, you couldn't do nothing about it, man. All right, let me jump down to verse 41. Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. All right, and we just read, again, that article about that, man. Let me jump down even further to verse 64. And Yahweh shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth, even to the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. So the Lord said he was going to scatter us from one end of the earth to the other end of the earth, man. And that's what happened in transatlantic slave trade, how we were scattered from one end of the earth to the other end and into every different nation. But not just that, man. Like we was reading in that article, there was an international trade that kind of wound down for a little while, but then they still was domestically trading, meaning they wasn't, the ships that was coming from, Africa and Spain and stuff like that. Those ships kind of died off from coming over from there to America, but, saying that, oh, they're not bringing no more slaves over here, so you can't really buy slaves that's coming from over there. But yet and still, the people that was here that already had slaves, you could buy and sell and trade and rent the slaves out, man. It was still going on, man. All right. We was being scattered, not only from, where we didn't originate in Africa, but, after 70 AD, we fled into Africa. Then you had the sub-Saharan slave trade where the damn Arabs took us into slavery. And that's how we got from the damn East Coast of Africa to the West Coast of Africa. And then that's where they picked us up from on the west coast of Africa and shipped us over here to America. Well, we was also in Spain and Europe, you know what I'm saying? Actually, the first slave ships came from Spain. They didn't even come from Africa, right? So, hey, that's the point of you so-called Negroes knowing you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans knowing your history, man. All right? But nevertheless, going back into them being scattered in the 4 corners of the earth. But look at us here in America, man. Like I said, that's when international trading stopped. But look at the domestic trading, man. You still here with you and your family on one plantation. Now your kids, let's say you're a mother, right? The mother of 7 kids, right? You got your husband, because was even more fucked up. Even in our worst condition when we was in slavery, we still had families together. The only separation we had then was when the so-called white man forcibly separated us in those points of times now. But he's still doing it today with these, a gift destroying the heart with these welfare and so on and so forth systems. But nevertheless, back in them days when we was getting beat, when we was seeing a so-called white man sneak in and take our wife and rape her ass and all kind of shit like that, at the end all be all, if we was able to still be around each other, the husband would go and comfort his wife, man. You know what I'm saying? You didn't have back in the olden days the so-called black woman trying to call the slave master on the Jake men and trying to get them fucked up. You know what I'm saying? If Jake was trying to get out of, not to say get out of line, but get out of line according to the Esau, like, man, fuck that. We about to plan a revolt, a rebellion, a runaway or some shit. Now, back in them days, you didn't have, the so-called Negro woman, calling, Massa, my husband, I'm trying to lead a revolt and trying to kill all y'all, Massa. You didn't have no shit like that. But look at nowadays, the shit that our own families, our own people, we want to call the police on us about all kind of crazy shit. We just trying to get the fuck up out of this here situation that we in, man. But yet and still, it be our own people that be, what them niggas over there doing, man? Or they see some kind of oppression going on. What they do, they go and videotape it and, we about to get some World Star views on this instead of trying to step in and stop the shit, man. So way back in slavery times, we was actually way more together as a family unit. Worse, less than today. Like today, you got the MGTOW movement going on and feminist movement going on and shit like that, where men are against women and the women are against men. So, and then you wonder why our damn nation can't never stand, man. But nevertheless, ultimately we need to have the damn men in line and in order, all right? And then the fucking wise and the righteous women, they'll fall under they ass, you know what I'm saying, and get in order. Then you can start raising up better kids, man. But ultimately, it's not going to be like, well, it's going to start on this side, man. You know, you're dealing with Isaiah 4:1, them 7 women come and take hold of one man. All right, these are going to be the mothers of all of Israel. These are going to be the fathers of all of Israel. All right, and they're going to, you know, when we get in the kingdom of heaven, the law, statutes, commandments going to be inside of us. So we're going to be raising back up our children, which are the 2/3 going to be coming back through our loins. All right, that's what's going to happen, man. All right, but right now we're doing the opposite of that, man. You got all these single ladies, the single mothers or whatever. I'm an independent woman. They take pride in that, man. Raising up their kids. I don't need no man or whatever, whatnot. I wonder why they damn kids is running around like they're running around, man. You know what I'm saying? With no kind of discretion, no kind of God or gods in their life, man. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, hey, these are the curses that we up under, man. Let me just jump down to verse 64. Oh, shit. No. Let me just keep reading. Verse 65. And among these nations thou shalt find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest, but Yahweh will give thee the trembling of heart and filling of eyes and sorrow of mind. So just think about that. We was reading that article about the mother bringing her 7 children up there, man. How you would feel seeing all your kids being taken and rented out to different vicious slave owners, knowing what the hell they're going to do to them, man. All right. And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and thou shalt have no assurance for thy life. Like we was just reading in that article, December 31st, man. You know what I'm saying? They over here trembling, thinking about, man, we're going to get separated. We're going to get rented out. We're going to ever see our family, our kids again, man. Is our new slave master going to be a more violent and cruel person than who we got now, man? What's going to happen, man? What's going to go on? You know, you got a young daughter, young son. You wondering, like, damn, man, I got a 4-year-old, 5-year-old. These damn heathen finna go and take my damn sons and my daughters and rape them both, man. You know what I'm saying? And I can't do shit about it, man. Or maybe they going to rape them right in the next room over and I can hear their ass and I can't even do shit about it, man. You know what I'm saying? Look at some of them damn slave movies and shit. I can't even think of what movie that is, like Pick a Winch. There's 2 little girls, and these 2 little girls look young as shit, man. And they're in there, man. You see what I mean, man? And you can't do shit about it, bro. Can't do a goddamn thing about it, man. All right. Verse 6. Did I read 67? In the morning thou will say, would God it were even, and at even thou will say, would God it were morning, for the fear of thy heart, wherein thou shalt fear for the sight of thy eyes, which thou shalt see. Verse 68. And Yahweh will bring me into Egypt again with ships. And going into Egypt is talking about bondage or slavery. All right. And Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by way whereof I spake unto you. Thou shalt see it no more, and there you shall be sold unto your enemy for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. You know, and a lot of people stumble over this here scripture because they don't understand, but it says Yahweh will bring you into Egypt again. You know, like you read in the book of Revelation, that place is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt because of the bondage, you know, the homosexuality and the bondage, the slavery, oppression here. But the Egypt part is dealing with the slavery, man. And out of all the different places that had slaves, you know, America was the way worse out of it all, man. All right. Yeah, Brazil may have had more slaves brought over there than America, but they went over there lynching and burning and barbecuing niggas like how, you know, you see here in America, man. All right. It says, and Yahweh will bring thee into Egypt again with ships. Now, if you think about the regular Egypt over there, you know, kind of close to the land of Israel, first of all, it was like a 3-day journey walking. You know, that's, you know, basically Yahushua, his mother and father, basically walked over that way. You know what I'm saying? When you know what I'm saying, when he was born, because Herod tried to kill him, so they went and hid in basically into Egypt. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't that far of a walk, man. And plus they was going back and forth to Egypt the whole damn time. You know what I'm saying? They didn't need no boat to go to Egypt, man. You know what I'm saying? They could have, you know, when you look at a map, you could basically walk the whole damn way over to Egypt, you know, on dry ground. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, they would think, oh, they went to Egypt on ships again. Like, bruh, you don't need no ship to go from Israel to Egypt. All right. This Egypt is talking about over here in America, man, in the bondage, being scattered into the 4 corners of the earth. How was you scattered into the 4 corners of the earth? Off of cargo slave ships. That's how you were scattered into the 4 corners of the earth. All right. It says, and thou shalt see it no more. And now thou shalt see it no more is basically talking about our homeland, man. We don't know what it's like to be on the land of Israel no more, man. Now, some of us have been over there and been back over there, still living over there. But nevertheless, the majority of us, we all think that, oh, I'm an African-American. Oh, I'm from the islands. I'm Trinidadian and Barbago. I'm a Puerto Rican. I'm from wherever, man. You know what I'm saying? But the majority of you wouldn't even say that you Israelites, you know? Like, oh, I ain't from the Middle East. You know, what they call the Middle East. I ain't from the Middle East. What the fuck is you talking about? Nah, we over here we from Brooklyn, son. You know what I'm saying? That type of shit. Like, nah, bro, you not from over here, man. All right? But it says, and thou shalt see it no more, and there you shall be sold unto your enemies. All right? And that's who we were sold unto our enemies. All right? Esau Edom is our chief enemy, man. All right? Because he said in what Genesis 27:41, all right, the days of my father are at hand, then will I slay my brother Jacob. All right? And he does comfort himself, purposing to kill his brother. All right? That's that, and in that perpetual hatred that thou hast had against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee. All right. All these things are showing you who your enemy is the Edomites, the so-called white man. All right. So it says, there you shall be sold unto your enemies, the so-called white man, the Edomites, for bondmen and bondwomen. All right. For slaves. All right. And no man shall buy you. Now it says no man shall buy you. It's not talking about you gonna be on the auction block and ain't nobody gonna buy you. It's talking about no man's gonna redeem you. All right. Your Martin Luther Kings, your Malcolm X's, all these Marcus Garveys and so on and so forth, man. They never led you up out of this condition that you in. You still here in slavery and in captivity under the so-called white man. All right. Let me go from there to this is Joel. Let me see. This is let me just start up here at verse 3. I'm gonna go down to I guess we can go to 8. Joel 3:3. It says well, let me just read from the top. For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage, Israel. All right, so this is, going into World War III when the Lord's about to judge these other nations. All right, it says, and plead with them there for my people and for my heritage, Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. So not only did they take our land, all right, they also, sold us into captivity into the four corners of the earth, all right. Verse 3, they have cast lots for my people. They have given a boy for a harlot. Like I said, I was made mention that they might take your little 5-year-old, 6-year-old little boy and go and rape his ass. You know what I'm saying? People are like, well, why would they be raping the little boys and not the little girls? You talking about the Edomites, man. Look at how they like they women, man. They like their women to be all flat-chested and flat-bodied all the way around and resemble like a 12-year-old little boy, man. That's what they like. You know what I'm saying? You see, not even like what Jacob call a woman, she kind of thick, you know what I'm saying? Not even talking about no thick woman, you know what I'm saying? It's like a regular, not even a regular, like a regular skinny, like Edomite chick or whatever, whatnot. They be like, she too big, she too fat, whatever, whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, she ain't even thick. You know what I'm saying? She barely got a little bit of body or whatever, whatnot. You talking about she too fat? But nevertheless, this is what's in the inside of Esau Edom, man. He like getting down with little boys and stuff like that, man. So it says, they have cast lots for my people and have given a boy for a harlot and sold a girl for wine that they might drink. All right. So look, they was out here with rum, muskets, and prostitution. This is what they sold our people for, man. Go look into your history, man. All right. You want to think this is a so-called white man's book? Then why are they telling you that? What are they going to tell you who the fuck sold who to who? All right. Because they go in to tell you all these people who all was involved in this transatlantic slave trade, man. But people will still think this is a so-called white man's book and they use this book to enslave us. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, man, like they got you with that Crowley Christianity. All right, and I call that, you got to look into Aleister Crowley and this nigga and the shit that he had going on. This is where you get the ideal of do thou wilt, all right? And you only live once, that YOLO lifestyle, you know what I'm saying? Being like how they taint John 3:16, all right? Where they be like, oh, do thou wilt. That's what they basically say. You can do whatever you want to do. Just on your deathbed, say you believe in Jesus and everything going to be all right, which causes you to go out there and just be a straight reprobate and it just fuck you all the way over, man. They give you these, or Jesus' birthday is on Christmas. You don't find none of this shit in the scriptures, man. All right, but these are the things that they propagated against you. But because, like scripture say, blessed he that readeth, and with all that get understanding, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of that time. All right, all these different things are telling you to open up your book and read, but yet and still you want to go to these pork chop pastors and have them finesse you just so you can put some money in the damn tip basket, man. All right. Verse 3 again, Joel 3:3. They have cast lots for my people and have given a boy for a harlot and a boy for a harlot and a girl for wine that they might drink. Yea, what do you have to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon and all the coast of Palestine? All right, this is talking about the Africans, right? Now, up at the top, it says, you have sold my people, talking about the Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Now, the Most High here is talking to these Africans, all right? It says, what do you have to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon and all the coast of Palestine? All right, will you render me a recompense? Are you going to pay me back for what you did? And if you recompense me, swiftly and speedily will I return your recompense upon your own head. All right. So like you trying to give me a peace gift or whatever, whatnot. You roll up with like a birthday cake or some shit in your hand. Oh, I'm sorry. Here go this. Take this cake as a token of my sorrow and repentance. As soon as you try to put the cake out there, man, the Most High said, I'm gonna slap that shit out your goddamn hand, man. Get that cake out of my face, man. Nigga, you can't pay me back for. Let me read the next verse. It says, let me read that again. It says, will you render me a recompense? And if you recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense on your own head? Because you have taken my silver and my gold and carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. All right. So not only did you, first and foremost, you touched Adolf Hitler said this shit, man, and he was dead on with this shit, man. He got a post-mortem kill. Hey, this motherfucker said he was gonna start World War III. All right, and he said that he was gonna start World War III by basically exposing that America stole the jewels of God. Right now, and these are all plays on words. Like like a lot of the words that you hear nowadays are all plays on words that come out of scriptures. You know what I'm saying? Like the judge, the jury. You know what I'm saying? When you go to court, a lot of the judicial system. All right, all these things come back from the lawyers. You know, lawyer. Basically, when you say like a lawyer, that's like how you say it in the Hebrew. How you say Levi. You know, liar. You know, basically roughly paraphrasing. Well, how you say Lawaya. You know what I'm saying? That's how you would say Levi. Levi are the priest, right? These are the ones that's judging the chief matters when it comes to, like, you know, sins and whatever, whatnot, you know? So when you go in the court system, you have, you know, lawyers, the judges. Like we used to have judges back in the days. I believe Eli and his son, or Eli's sons, were judges. You see what I'm saying? But nevertheless, you get all these terms really from out of the scriptures, you know? The jewels, you know, oh, I got some nice jewels on, right? This was the Most High talking about, you know, they come up with a word called Jews, but, you know, the Israelites, you know what I'm saying? Nevertheless, this is what they talking about, man. All right. It says, because you have taken my silver and my gold and carried them into your temples, my goodly pleasant things, you know, sacking our temples and stuff like that, taking those things. But not only that, you took the Israelites themselves. All right. It says the children of Judah, the so-called Negroes, all right, the Southern Kingdom, the Negroes, the so-called Haitians, the West Indies, all right. It says the children of Judah and the children of Jerusalem, all right, the Northern Kingdom, the Kingdom of Israel, which is so-called Latinos and Native Americans, all right. It says the children of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have you sold unto the Grecians, that you might remove them far from their borders, all right. So going back up, it says, verse 4, yea, what do you have to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coast of Palestine, right? So what did they wind up doing? It says, because you have taken my silver and my gold and carried them into your temples and my goodly pleasant things. And the children of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have you sold, all right? So the Africans sold the Israelites unto who? The Grecians, right? Now, when you go into history, they like to always say, oh, your own people sold you into slavery. No, Hamites, these Africans sold us into slavery. It wasn't our own people, man. I mean, you might have had a couple of Israelites, but for the most part, it was all these Africans, man. You go on YouTube right now, look up the Gate of No Return, man. All right, that's like the worst shit, bruh. That's like the worst shit you might ever see in your life, man. The Gate of No Return, man. All right, this is what the fuck these people did to us. That shit is still over there to the same day. It's still there to this same day with the story of how the Africans enslaved the Israelites, or rounded up the Israelites and sold us off into slavery, man. I like pause the video and look up the Gate of No Return, man. There's about 2 or 3 of them still standing to the same day, man. All right, you can look at the inscriptions and the pictures of the Israelites being taken into slavery, man. Once they went through that damn gate, there was no return, man. You know, they had the gates where they was actually in these slave like compounds before they was being transported out. But then when they actually went off into the beach, that is big ass like arch that they walked through. The last time they was gonna ever see where they came from ever again, man. They was getting on them boats to no return, man. All right. It says, let me go back to verse 6 again. The children of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have you sold unto the Grecians, that you might remove them far from their border. All right. And so, look, this is what, you know, going into the transatlantic slave trade, man. Going back to the article, you know, or going back to the script I read in the book of Daniel 9 and 12, talking about there's never been nothing worse that didn't happen to anybody, basically, except for the Israelites, man. All right, we was the ones that were scattered from one end of the earth to the other end of the earth, having our children separated, our whole family separated from us, man. All right, sold on auctioning blocks, man, treated in less than humane, you know, conditions, and still to the same day, man. This is the same thing that's going on to the same day, man. All right, I'm going to go ahead and finish this off, and I'm going to just close out here. It says, behold, I will raise them up out of their place, whether you have sold them, and will return your recompense on your own head. And ultimately, that's what you're starting to see right now. This is Ezekiel 37 taking place, man. All right, the valley of the dry bones being raised up, man. All right, then you also see in it, what is that, Revelation 11, where that great fear fell upon them. All right, and I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hands of the children. Salak. Yeah, I just read that. Verse 8. And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabians, to a people far off, for Yahweh has spoken it. All right? So look, man, hey, that's what we're going to do to you and your people, man. We're going to wind up taking y'all ass and basically putting you to work in slavery, man. You know what I'm saying? These Edomites and everybody else, they going into slavery, man. As is done unto us, it's gonna be done unto you double, man. All right. So I just wanted to, you know what I'm saying, read that there article that I came across, you know, dealing with this January 1st, New Year's Day that a lot of our people are celebrating or whatever, whatnot, you know what I'm saying? And upholding this, oh, another new year, 2020, I'm about to be living my best life and so on and so forth, not knowing that they celebrating really around the same time like most of our people was mourning, man. Not knowing if their families was gonna be separated or whatever, whatnot, man. There's another year of goddamn hell and oppression here, man. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and close out with that. Lord willing, this here lesson was edifying into the elect. Until next time, I say, call halal Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, I can pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So next time, I say, stay strong, Shalom.